All right, so now let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. Let's go ahead and work on some. I'm going to go ahead and show you a thing called string split. Basically, a string split will take a string. Let's say, let's go this out. So now we're going to be working with some array functions. And with this array function, you can take a string. Let's call it Metroid. Metroid. And then what we can do is we can take the letters in the array and equal it to str split. And what this takes is a string. And with doing so, if we var dump this, you'll see, and this is going to help you a little bit later in a little exercise that I plan on having you do. And if you save this and we go back to the browser, you'll see that it takes the string and turns it into an array. So if we go back, we'll go ahead and move on to the next, which is going to be, we have a lot of things here, so I'm trying to move it along, but these are all really important and you'll end up using them. So we'll go with array sorting. So say if we want to go ahead and take an unordered array, and we go ahead and equal this to, let's say for some odd reason we get a value, like say if we get like an array of indexes, and for some odd reason they're not in order, what we can do is take, let's say this is the unordered array, so 3 and 5, as you can see they're not in order. If we do a thing called sort unordered array, you'll see when we go ahead and var dump this, and we take the unordered array. Now, the good thing about this sort method, it will take the current array and it will mutate that current array and make it the new array, which is going to be the ordered array. So if we go ahead and dump this and we go back to your browser and refresh, you'll see that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's say if we go back and comment out this and save it and go back to the browser, see that it's the 2, 1, 4, 3, 5. So let's go ahead and say we want to go ahead and reverse this order. So let's go ahead and sort this first, save it, and then let's go ahead and do a reverse sort. And we can take that unordered array and make it reverse. We don't need this sort. We can go ahead and reverse the sort, which is essentially going to take this, if we had dumped this out, 3, 5, 1. So now you can see that you can reverse the order or take it and do it in order. Now let's go back to here, and then we can also do the same thing. Let's go ahead and comment these ones out. Let's say if we want to go ahead and do a sort, array sort on strings, it's the exact same thing, unordered array. And let's go ahead and make that equal B, C, and A. And we do we can go ahead and var dump just straight up the sort method. And if we do this, we go unordered array, and we save this, and we go back to the browser and we refresh. I am sorry, that's not true. It actually returns that it actually did successfully do it. Sorry, there is a return value, which is either true or false, that it actually was able to actually sort the array. So we'll go ahead and take that unordered array and we'll just display the unordered array. See, I even screwed. And we refresh, you'll see A, B, and C. And to go back to the code, you'll see what I did to refactor that. Basically taking the sort, taking the unordered array, and then dumping the unordered array afterward. All right, so let's go ahead and say we want to compare arrays. So we can also do array comparisons to see if arrays actually match and see exactly what the difference between the arrays are. So we're going to go ahead and compare two arrays. In this, we can go ahead and take array one, and make it apple, banana, and grapes. But in array two, we're gonna make it a little different. We're gonna say apple and grapes. Let's say if we want to go ahead and say, okay, we know that array one has grapes, but we know that array two doesn't have grapes. But let's go ahead and say that we don't know that, and we just want to figure out what is part of array one that doesn't exist in array two. We can do with that, we can go ahead and make a result set, so that way we can go ahead and get the result back, because this doesn't actually take and mutate the array. This actually returns an array of what doesn't, what doesn't exist in array two that actually exists in array one. What we can do is this function, array function called array diff. Inside here, we pass array one and array two. And if we go ahead and var dump the results of result and save this and go back to the browser, you're going to see that the only thing that was missing from array two is going to be banana. So you can see why this is very powerful. So that way we can actually see what the difference between two arrays are. So say if we need to do some validation and we just need to make sure that like all the data exists, or we can check to see if the data doesn't exist, we can go ahead and validate that to make sure that it actually exists within. Go back to here and let's go ahead and move on. So now let's go ahead and take all the stuff that we've learned so far. And I'm going to go ahead and give you an exercise. I call this a bonus exercise. And this will go ahead and give you the opportunity to fill in the blanks using, thinking too fast, the following array. We're going to make this array. You can choose whatever you want the characters to be. So we're going to make a characters array. And inside this characters array, we're going to go ahead and give it Mario, Bowser, and Princess. What we're going to do is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give you a string. So I'm going to give you an empty string. And what I want you to do is I want you to take the values in this. So like say if the string is going to equal the blank is being kidnapped by blank and blank must go save blank. So imagine I'm going to give you this string, and what I want you to do is I want you to take this string, since you've learned concatenation, what I want you to do is I want you to concatenate this string and add in the values from here, from what you've learned before, and I want you to take the value that you think should be from here and put it into these spaces by creating this string. I'll give you a few seconds and I'll let you go ahead and pause the video and actually try to see if you can do this yourself. All right, so hopefully you had some success on this, but we're going to go ahead and solve this together. So we're going to go since we know that we can go ahead and concatenate some strings together, we're going to go the characters 2, because obviously 0, 1, 2, Princess Peach is being kidnapped by, and then we go ahead and do another string concatenation. And what we do is characters. She's being kidnapped by 0, 1. So this is going to be 1. And with that, we're going to go ahead and then we're going to go ahead and concatenate again. Characters. We're going to say that, and who? Mario. So we know this is in the 0 position. And we're going to say 0, which is Mario, must go save, period, characters. What are we going to go save? We're going to save Princess Peach, which is in 0, 1, 2. And then we're going to concatenate that exclamation point. So if we save this and go ahead and go back to the browser, and if you did this right, after obviously we go ahead and either echo this out or dump it. Most likely, let's just go ahead and echo the string. So we're going to go ahead and echo it. If we take that, and we go back to the browser and we refresh again, the Princess Peach is kidnapped by Bowser, and Mario must go save the Princess Peach. So you can see why this is useful. You can actually do this by taking characters and actually displaying them in your there's other uses for arrays. Obviously, like I said, with arrays, what you can use them for is, like, let's say if you have an array of data from the database, you can go ahead and display that data in whichever way you want, depending on the framework you use. Like, let's say if you use an Angular front end or a React front end or just plain HTML. You can display the values however you'd like in a table, and hopefully you understand a little bit about HTML so you know about tables. So what you can do is you can go ahead and take this data, and you know where, especially if you're getting it from a relational database, you can take that data and go ahead and display it out in a table to make it easier to display the data for the user. As well as, like, take the data that you need from, let's say if you get an array back or an object from the server, and you want to display like a user's name, you can go like, okay, I have the user's data, which is going to be like username, first name, last name, and so on and so forth. What you can do is you can take that first name, last name, you can concatenate them together, display hello, and then the name of the person at like the top right of the screen, to make it a little bit nicer for the actual user to be able to see when they actually log in. But with that being said, I will give you one more bonus exercise that you can possibly do. I want you to go ahead and take the same string methodology that we actually took, but instead of doing a string, see if you can use like a string function. And you can look on PHP, their documentation, and look at their string functions. I'd like for you to be able to see if you can take this, instead of using the arrays and concatenating the strings together, see if you can use like a string function like a sprint app, and being able to take it and using like the %s or %d, but obviously you wouldn't use that because there's no decimals or digits in here. So what you can do is you can do these %s's, and I'd highly recommend going to the PHP documentation and looking this up, because going to PHP and looking the documentation is going to better you as a developer and also give you all the information you need. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and end this here, because I think I've given you plenty enough information. And then we're going to go ahead and work on introduction to functions and an introduction to loops on the next lesson. So please like and subscribe, and see you next time.